with today's Matters of the Heart and what happens to your heart when you actually have an attack.
But by now you know it's the leading cause of death among women. But do you know how vital it is to recognize when you're actually having a heart attack?
Experts estimate that more than 1 million Americans will have a heart attack at some point this year. That's one every 26 seconds. But do you know what happens during a heart attack? It all starts with cholesterol, which can cause plaque to build up in the arteries. If that plaque ruptures, a blood clot will form. If the clot grows large enough, it can completely block blood flow to a section of the heart, depriving it of oxygen. With every minute that passes, the heart muscle is damaged more, and the chance of survival decreases. Of the 1 million Americans who will have heart attacks this year, 1 in 4 will die before making it to the hospital, often because they don't recognize the signs.
And here with the warning signs for heart disease is Dr. Nieca Goldberg, a cardiologist and author of Dr. Goldberg's Complete Guide to Women's Health. Tony DeLeon and Patricia Henderson are heart attack survivors. Welcome to you
Welcome
all.
to all of you.
Doctor, it's interesting because no matter how many times we say 1 in 4 women get heart attacks and such, women still don't quite get it.
They don't think they're going to be the one.
No, they think it's a man's disease, and for a long time the medical community thought that it was a man's disease. Do you know 64% of women never get to the hospital with their first heart attack? They die suddenly without any warning sign at all. Or maybe they don't recognize the warning sign.
That's the other thing, right?
Right. I think it's deceptive because you think if you're in shape and you eat right, Patricia, like you did, I mean, you were an aerobics instructor.
Several times a week you were teaching.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And when did you had a heart attack in your 40s?
Yes, I did.
Tell us about
I had
that.
the heart attack in the hospital. The doctor awakened me and told me what happened. I had gone into cardiac arrest and actually had the flat line.
Wow. But it's funny because you did all the right things. What did the doctor say? Was it just a genetic issue with you?
It was not genetic. There's no family history of heart disease. He said that blockage typically will occur. And in my case, what gave me the I guess identification to go to the hospital was the burning sensation and the shortness of breath and fatigue.
But you can feel like it's heartburn sometimes, right? Is that heartburn?
You know, it's always devastating to figure out someone doing everything right and still have a heart attack, but it happens. What saved Patricia's life was the fact that she's so fit and in tune with her body, she knew something was wrong. She may have not thought she was having a heart attack, but she called her doctor and went to the hospital.
What are the other signs? Because if you feel kind of queasy and icky and hot,
it's a sudden shortness of breath where you feel like you've run a marathon but not made a move, or the pressure is in the center of your chest. It feels like an elephant is sitting on your chest.
What about
sometimes you're exhausted, and as the pressure starts in the chest, it can radiate down the arm and up the neck.
And is that usually for men, though? Is the arm thing a men thing?
It's a common symptom in men. It can happen in women. But women's symptoms seem more subtle, and so they don't recognize it. They don't call 911.
Right. Yeah. Tony, for you, did yours feel like
a firefighter?
Did it feel like an elephant on your chest?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was getting dressed, and it was surprising because I wasn't doing anything. I figured since I'm a fireman, I'd be active, you know, if anything happened. That's what the most surprising thing was. I wasn't doing anything. I was just getting dressed, and I felt like someone was standing on my chest. I couldn't take a deep breath. It was
in your 30s. That's astonishing. I didn't realize that people could get that young.
Did you know what your cholesterol level was, or do you have it also genetically in your family?
No, I had nothing in my family history. My mother had high blood pressure, and I was diagnosed like 8 months prior with high cholesterol.
But did you go on Lipitor?
Yes, I was on Lipitor, and I was still, you know,
susceptible.
Susceptible.
But the key you keep saying is we have to know the signs so we know when to go to the hospital.
You know the signs, and also don't think because you're young that you're not going to have a heart attack, because young people tend not to go to the doctor and get their blood pressure and cholesterol checked. So you can be walking around with high cholesterol and not even know it.
And the other thing is, you say you could take a walk, but isn't it important that you get your heart racing a little bit, which sometimes in a nice leisurely walk, yes, it's better than nothing, but you need to sweat a little and get that pumping feeling in your heart, don't you?
Well, that's very important, Kathy. What you really need to do is walk at a pace where you feel short of breath but can still talk. And you can actually reduce your heart attack risk in half by walking.
But we're talking about, okay, Trish, you in your 40s, you were in your 30s. We had a Facebook question. People were asking, at what age should people check
Is there a certain age you need to be tested for heart disease?
You need to get your cholesterol tested when you're in your 20s.
In your 20s?
So you need to get a baseline and you know where you are. It's also important to know about your family health. If you have a family history, you get screened earlier. And when you go to the doctor, you get your blood pressure checked and also get a blood test for diabetes.
So are you
very big risk factor for heart disease.
Are you guys both okay now? Patricia, you're okay?
Oh, yeah.
You feel good, 100%?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Tony, you're okay too? Good. Well, we're glad you guys are here.
Thank you all for being
Thank you
here
so
and sharing your
much.
stories.
We
So
really
important.
appreciate.
And when we come back, how to change your diet and your pantry with foods that actually feed your heart and don't block it, right after this.